Hey guys, Bluebridge here. I was just about to write the obituaries for our season, and then Petro Neto comes out with a screamer. So welcome to Fulham 1, Chelsea 2. Let's get into it. So, it's games like this that football is all about. Scoring the last minute winner when you're fighting for your lives or fighting to get into the Champions League. But the sad thing about it is that I wasn't even jumping up and down and screaming at the last minute equaliser. I'm not like some people who are happy when Chelsea lose or draw so that I can have a moan. I want Chelsea to win every game. But the joy has just been sapped out of me this season watching our football. And that's sad because I should be elated at this victory. As I said, I'm always glad every time Chelsea get a win. But today we still got a lot of work to do, guys. But what I'm hoping, because our poor run started on Boxing Day against Fulham when we were 1-0 up with 8 minutes to go, and then Fulham score an equaliser, and they do that come away with a sucker punch in the last minute. The Brazilian guy who wasn't on the pitch today because of injury, is it Muniz or something? When he scored that last minute equaliser and winner, and that knocked our confidence, and we haven't been the same since. Only 5 wins in 16. So I'm hoping that with the return fixture, with us doing the same thing what they did to us, I'm really hoping that our fortunes are going to change for the last 5 games of the season, and it will galvanise the squad now from the jaws of defeat, and we turn it into a victory. So I'm hoping that it will galvanise the team in the last 5 games, give them that confidence booster that they need to push us on to the over the final stretch and get us into one of them Champions League positions. So it was great to see, because I was sort of planning my review, and I was going back to the fact that Fulham hadn't got the double over us for 33 years, and but now make it 34 because they didn't. And it's, as I said, it's always nice to get one over, especially when it's Fulham. But the first half. Should we talk about? Let's talk about the first half first. We were poor. It didn't look like we were a team who were playing for Maresca. It looked like a team that's given up on Maresca. And Fulham came out of they came out of the traps ready to go. They were on us, and they didn't give us a moment to breathe. And they weren't playing a low block. They were playing a high pressing game, and we were getting caught out of possession time and time again. And that's where their first goal came from, actually, where Reece James caught really lazy in possession, and he got easily dispossessed by Sessegnon, and Iwobi with the finish, so 1-0. And we were lucky not to go 2-0 down. There had a couple of chances, I think, a couple of inviting crosses which Fulham players didn't get their head to, and yeah, we were always last to the balls. We weren't getting any of the second balls, and it just looked a bit of a shambles in that first half. And I thought, who's the team who were fighting for Champions League football? It looked more like Fulham were the ones fighting for Champions League football. It looked like we were just there with an end of season feel about it. So not a great showing in that first half. And what it also showed, Fulham looked like they were a team who had a manager who knew what he was doing, and he set them up in the right way. They were fullbacks who were overlapping, which created a lot of chances for them, whereas our underlapping fullbacks, they already had a plan for them. Once they caught them, dispossessed our players, they were knocking the ball in the space vacated by our inverted fullbacks and trying to get one-on-one with our centre half. So it wasn't great, but credit. I've been critical of Maresca in the last few weeks, but credit to him today, because in the second half it did look like he gave them a pep talk, because they did come out with a bit more purpose in that second half. They were moving the ball quicker, they were more aggressive. He made 2 substitutes, bringing on Malagusto for the ineffective James, and he took off Nani, who I thought wasn't great today. Some people were surprised by that, but I don't think he was great today, and brought on Jadon Sancho. And from there, the change of personnel, it sort of, the play was being stretched a bit more, and we were creating chances. We weren't. There weren't a lot of goal scoring opportunities. We were having shots, but there were comfortable saves for Leno in goal. But we at least we were looking a bit more menacing in our attack. And the other credit where I've got to give to the manager is the fact that he made a brave decision of taking off Nicholas Jackson and bringing on Tyrique George, who's only a youngster, to play in his position. And it paid dividends with a fantastic goal. Before I talk about that goal, I want to touch on Jackson, because I thought Jackson, again, am I putting it down to his lack of fitness or confidence, or just his lack of ability? I don't know. But once again, he was poor. And I likened him to a statue in the Madame Tussauds Museum, because he's got zero box movement. The amount of times Cole Palmer's getting frustrated, he's fizzing, inviting balls into the box, and from the other side as well, I think Noni, and a couple of times other people were putting balls into the box, but not once did Nicholas Jackson react to it. As I said, he's got zero box movement. And that's the issue when we're knocking in low crosses, when you haven't got anyone running across the box, or you just got no late runs into the box neither. And it was a bit frustrating to watch at times, his performance. And he didn't really, even his run in the channels and everything else wasn't great. I can't think of anything really positive that Nicholas Jackson did today, and he was rightly taken off. And as I said, brave decision bringing on Tyrique George. And George, he was the one who saved Maresca today, I think. Brilliant instinctive strike by George. He didn't, and what I liked about it is it was his first goal in the Premier League, but because of the magnitude of the game, he understood the game. He didn't even cheer like he did when he scored in the Conference Cup, and because he knew that that a 1-1 wouldn't be good enough for us in our fight for the for challenging for the Champions League. So he got the ball back, and he showed a lot of urgency in trying to get us to push on for that other goal, and it came courtesy of a fantastic strike by Neto, who had missed the easy chance earlier, so he redeemed himself. It wasn't a sitter like some reporters are saying, but it was a chance that he should have done better with. He was one-on-one with the keeper, but Leno did well, to be honest. He gambled by going to the right to save it, but he got a bit lucky as well, because by gambling, the ball came off his leg, the inside of leg, and it just trickled and it was cleared off the line. So we got a bit fortunate with that one. So I don't think it was a sitter, but it was a chance that with a bit more purchase he could have scored. But boy, did he make amends with that last minute equaliser, and it sort of changes everyone's mood today. As I said, I'm still not entirely optimistic of top four, but hopefully, as I said, it gives these players a lot of confidence. And we were having a go at them before and saying, obviously, they're a young, inexperienced side, but going to a fierce London derby, a local derby, and 1-0 down with so much on the line, to come back the way that they did, you've got to give them a bit of credit. So that puts pressure on Nottingham Forest now, because I think we've overtaken Nottingham Forest in the league, so that puts pressure on them on Tottenham. But they got Tottenham, so I'm not really putting a lot of hope in Tottenham. There's always Spurs; they're always going to let us down. So I'm not open, and I'm not thinking that. But can you imagine if they do lose Forest, pressure's going to be on, and it could come down to Chelsea versus Forest in the last game of the season to who's going to be top 5. But Villa, as I said, with them winning yesterday, they can't be discounted either. So it's, as I said, credit. I'm not one who's always going to be on the manager's back for the sake of it. If he does something which deserves credit, I'm going to give him credit. No, I'm not flip-flopping, but I'm just saying, if he does something, I'm not afraid to put my hand up and say, yeah, well done. So that for that second half, so the second half substitutions and the team talk that he did, well done. Fulham tired. They were never going to keep at those energy levels for the full 90 minutes. And we were not fortunate because Tete, when he came off, Sessegnon, it was great down that wing. The players who they brought on weren't up to the same speed and level. And we took advantage of that. But that's all we can do, is take advantage of situations, which we were able to do today. So until we can prove consistency, if we follow that up with a victory against Everton, which isn't going to be easy. We saw our Man City struggled against them, and a victory against Liverpool, Man United. If we follow it up with victories against those guys, then I will be starting to cheer again. But there's still a lot of hard work to be done, guys, and I'm taking this victory. Why wouldn't I? But there's still a lot of hard work to be done if we are serious about getting into the top 4 or 5 this season. So guys, what do you think of the match, the performance? Let me know in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, turn on post notifications to be notified every time I make a new video. So take care. Bye bye. Up the Blues.